Hello and welcome to the Studio Brutal tutorial on how to use Ableton's raw distortion unit that comes with Ableton 12. So yeah, basically I'm going to run through all the parameters, what they do, how to use them real quick on a 808 drum, because everyone knows what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like, and that's what it sounds like with the raw on. I'm going to go through every single parameter and just run through them as quick as possible. There's in the description below, there'll be a link to a full article on it, on everything, and some use cases and free presets as well. So yeah, go and get those in the description below. And as always, please leave us a comment or like or something like that. It really does help. If you leave us just a comment, it helps the video get to more people, basically. So yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, that's what the kick sounds like. So first of all, this is what it will look like when you open the unit. It's probably just got one stage on. So there's two things you can do to get a better view, which is you can click this arrow here and it will show you the modulation sources, which are great. It's like if you've got Ableton Wavetable, it's like that. And then also like Wavetable, you can click here and it shows you everything, and it gives you a much bigger view. You don't have to go through these little tabs, because when you've got 3 tabs, 3 different distortions, you've got to like go through the tabs, and it's a bit of a pain down here. If you stick it up here, you've got everything up on one screen, plus all the modulations. You don't have to scroll through them. Basically everything's on one screen. So yeah, I will use that because it's really what you want to do. It's the best way to use it, and you can always minimize it afterwards so your track looks tidy. So yeah, first of all, let me just turn that feedback down and I'll put it on single mode. So now we've just got one stage, not 3, which is sort of like the default sound. So first of all, you have a drive here. So before it hits any distortion, these 3 distortion units, saturation units, it has a drive before it even hits any of them, which will affect how these units distort it as well. And it's really good. If I switch, so I've switched all the shapers off, so you can still distort it a little bit with this drive thing, and it's really helpful because you can see that yellow dot, so you can see it. You can see when it's driving, basically. So obviously you turn it up and you get more drive. It's like redlining something before it goes in on an analog desk sort of thing. It's quite a nice little drive. But what's really good is you've got these EQ things here, so you can EQ the drive. So you can pull out and EQ the sound. This thing compensates for if it's too loud in one frequency. So like there, you're really pushing the bass. If you've got headphones, you can hear that. And then this thing here is the shelf, the low shelf of the bass. But the two things that are important, you can leave that as it is this tone and this drive, and it can really shape stuff even before you get to this stage here. And it will have once you start using these distortions up here, this will have a big effect. Even just that EQ there, because it's how you're driving what frequency range, basically. Pardon me. So yeah, that's it for the drive and the input, and that's really important. And you kind of want to, once you've set everything up here, you want to come back and tweak it. Then the sound basically will go through these 3 stages. There's different modes. I'll go through them all, but there's basically 3 stages. So it can go through. I'll put it on the serial. That means it's going to go through stage 1, stage 2. There's no stage 3 on the serial, so it goes through one and the other, basically, and then it goes to the feedback module, and you can add feedback, which I will here, which is sort of like a delay, a really tight delay, so you can get really nasty tones. And then it goes to the output section, which is a crude sort of compressor, but can be good, and an output where you can overdrive it again at the output section. So yeah, that's the signal routing, and you can change the routing here. You can see it here, and you can see it. It's a really small icon, but it's telling you that it will go into the stage 1 goes into drive first, then stage 1, and stage 2 is where the feedback's happening. You can see it showing you. I'll run through these things quickly. Parallel means it goes through both of these equally, so you can distort it differently, use 2 different distortions at the same time, but they're not it's one's half of the signal's going to this one, half is going to this one, and then they mix. And you can change the blend here, which is quite useful for when you do for the next one, which is multi-band. So this is really good because you have low frequency, mid frequency, and high frequency. You can see it here. So you can just take the top end of the kick and really distort it and make it nasty and filter it, so you're just affecting the high end. And then affect the low end differently, and the mids, and really change everything up. This is really good for anything really, if you want to split the frequencies and do the high end separately. Like this sounds like it's almost got a hi-hat on it. I did actually make a kick rack as well, I'll link that below, with 3 of these Ableton Raw units. Where I've done that and it sounds like a hi-hat on top of the kick. So yeah, that's a multi-band mode. Mid side is where you've got, like, it splits the stereo field. So the side is the left and right, and the mid is the center. So if you're running a delay or a ping pong delay into it, that will change. And you got headphones on, you'll hear what that does. And again, you can split it, the mix. And then there's a feedback mode, which is where this is distorted first, and then this is the distortion of the feedback, a separate shaper unit on the feedback. So if you can get nasty real quick, you can get too much, but it's quite good for like sound design. If you like run like a little stab into it, you can make pads and stuff. It's the feedback on this is pretty good. So yeah, they're the routing options. You can do the blend. The blend is good as well for, obviously, for too much feedback. Yeah, for the multi-band one, because you decide where the EQs are for these, the bands are. So yeah, so they're how these are organised. So the sound comes in here. Then each of these units here, this square, this top square, and this top square, I'll put it just on one. So just this one's on. Obviously, you've got the amount of saturation. The bias is you move this line off the center, so you can sort of move it off a sweet spot and then modulate it back on. I obviously don't use that too much, but it can be useful for tweaking sounds sometimes. And the frequency is this filter, and there's loads of filter types. Some of them you've seen before in Ableton, but the bottom 2 are really good because they distort it more. Like you can see what they do. Like it's a band pass, but the bottom 2, the comb, you can see it's got this weird like noise resonance at the top. And if you turn the resonance up, and especially if you modulate this, it can be really nice on the kick, which I will do. I've just modulated it now. Like it's like almost going into filter FM at the top there. And then I'll show you the resampling filter, which is similar, but it's almost got a bit crushing effect. And that's without the modulation. So these sort of adding more distortion in their own right. I'll just put it back onto a normal filter for just a second. And then these shapers are the different shaper types, and they're really important because you can again drive them here with the level. So this is soft shaper. I'll just scroll through them and see what they do. Next one, digital. I'll put this filter up. Bit crush is obviously nuts, but you can tame it down with the filter. Get that sort of what's that thing that's got an analog filter? Otto biscuit. So you crush it and then filter it. Take the hardness off. Diode distortion. Again, turning the levels up can get really nice effects, and the amount is different to the level, obviously. Then you got tube, that just sounds awesome on a 909. And then you got half rectify, full rectify, and you don't have to have it that level up. Just really pushing it, just to give you an idea of what they do. That's polynomial. You can see what it's doing to the shaper. It's some sort of wave shaping. Fractal. Again, it's like digital sort of harsh wave shaping. Trifold is that. That's how it changes with the amount. Noise injection is. Hear what it's doing. You can almost turn it into a hi-hat if you want with that. And there's one more, which is shards, which is really like bit crushy. It's digital sort of clipping, really, I think. But it sounds great when used right. So you've got loads and loads, and then obviously if you're doing these sounds in parallel, you can do all of these again in these other 3 units. They've all got the same things. So you just have basically loads of way to destroy a sound, but also obviously you can, if you use them carefully, you can add harmonics, and used in conjunction with these filters, you can get really nice tones. So then if you were to add a 01, it's gonna do that. This is obviously really good for stuff like techno kicks or like drum and bass lines, but also stuff like pads. So you can add like loads of like humming atmosphere in the background. These are the saturation stages, and after that it's going to the feedback stage. I will mention the modulation in a minute. I'm going to come to the feedback. The feedback stage is a delay. Well, it can get like nasty, like noise, but so like the first one is time is non-sync delay basically. You can do this really tight little awesome sounds. You can tune it almost with that. And then a synced, which is a sync delay. Triplet, which is the triplet timing delay, and dotted, which is dotted timing. They're all delays. And obviously you can use these for rumbles. Like I said, I'll link to the rumble one I did below using this. And the last one, which is really interesting, is note, which is a really tight delay, but it's tuned, so you can tune it to your track, which is immense. So like you can tune it, say you're in D minor, you can tune the feedback to the rest of the track. So this is like this is great for sound design. Underneath you got this phase. This knob stops the feedback if the kick drums that go into it stop, or whatever sound source. I don't really care about that. I'm just going to switch that off. Phase cancellation inverts the phase. So if the feedback's a bit nasty, you can click that to invert it. Then underneath you've got a band. This is like a bandpass filter that the feedback is going into, so you can cut off. It's sort of like the overdrive thing. You can think of it like the overdrive unit where you can shape the distortion. It's basically a bandpass filter, and this is the resonance or the width, the bottom one of the bandpass filter, and that's the frequency, the cut off. It'd be nice if that was visual, but yeah, they can't put that stuff in. And after that you've got compression, and you can see it working with that light as well. This light's really helpful. And then this is a high pass filter, but it's not a high pass filter on the audio you can hear. It's a high pass filter on that sounds really nice actually, that because the compressor's kicking in, you can see it pumping. And this is a high pass filter on the signal that goes into the compressor that this compressor's working on. So if it's really bass heavy like this and you put it on, you can sometimes get a pumping effect. Better, because there's too much bass in it basically, it's taking it out of the compression signal. And then last of all, you can drive it, sorry if that's too loud, you can drive it on the output there, or take it down. And then you've got wet dry, which is wet dry for the whole unit. So yeah, that's all the distortions and feedback. I will just go through the modulations. So you've got an LFO here, fairly same as, I'll just take that feedback off because it's pretty full on. You know what, I don't need to go through the LFOs. They're the same as Wavetable. They've got this morph thing, which so you can sort of change the shape, which is quite cool. And then you can smooth them out as well. So you get a lot of different shapes. But it's the same as very similar to Wavetable. LFO2 the same. It says ENV up here, but it's not a normal sort of attack, decay, sustain, release envelope. It's generated. It's an envelope follower. So it's hearing the kick on the way in, and then generating it triggers an envelope off that, and so you can add the release up, and it'll do this. It's sort of a bit like the gate signal, and then you can add threshold up. Let me add something to it. So if you click on this, it will highlight it in white. Actually, I'm going to do the filter frequency. Give a bit of feedback so you can see what that's doing. The filter is moving with this. I can make the envelope longer, but it's always going to reset on the next drum beat. And you've got gain and stuff like that, and the width. So that's pretty cool. That is really cool for like pumping anything, for like, again, kick or bus, like the whole drum bus, so you can make it really pump. Can make, like, you know, percussion tracks pump up the kick, and then you've got noise, and there's 4 different noise signals, and they're pretty good, especially on a pad. You can make stuff randomly change, or on anything really. You want a random signal, but the brown noise, sample and hold, which is randomly taking points of a sine wave and then making a little flat line from them basically. And then you've got wander, which is similar, but it traces the points between, and simplex. They're just different noises, and you can sync it, and it can be 3 dotted 16th notes, and you can smooth it out even as well, which probably won't do much on that, but it will on the sample and hold. So yeah, it's just that's a really powerful modulation, and then you can literally just add like so now that's a modulated feedback amount, or I can modulate feedback amount with noise. And so yeah, that's it. It is really good. It's let me turn it down. Sorry, that's too much. So yeah, that's it. That's what everything does. I will just show you a few use cases. It's a really pumping kick. Sorry if that's too loud. Let me just turn it down. There's no modulation, I don't think, on that. That is just pumping because of the kick signal that's coming in and distorting it, and it's good, and it's pumping off the feedback, which is delay. So yeah, that's using the feedback routing, and it's pumping with that bias. I've changed the bias, which is the center. And it's just, I mean, it's just insane. It's so there's no modulation going on there. That is just tweaking the bias, and the kick and the feedback are making it pump. It's just, yeah, it's just a great little thing. And then this one is to sharpen modulation. This is the same kick, but I'm doing some modulation here, which is the feedback time, which I'm modulating with an LFO. So it's just going there, and that's the same kick. It's that kick. It's just one kick a bar. So yeah, that's it. I will be doing loads with Raw because it's awesome, to be honest. Yeah, like I said, I'll go through. I'll show you how to process the techno kick in it and the rumble and everything in a separate video, which I'll link below, and there'll be a free rack for that in the description. So yeah, go and get that. And yeah, like I said, please leave us a comment or a like or anything like that. It really helps us out and gets it to more people. And yeah, if you've got any more use cases that you've used Raw for, please let me know. I'm probably going to be doing a ton of videos with it because it's great. And I would actually buy Ableton for this. I got Ableton fairly cheap. Thanks, Ableton, for giving me that discount. But I would almost buy Ableton for the Raw unit itself. It's so good, especially if you're making techno or any sort of industrial music. It is, it's just a brilliant distortion. It's one of the best out there. It's better than a lot of the VSTs that do it. So yeah, that is it. That is a deep dive on Raw. I'll be putting use cases and stuff on the website, so yeah, look out for those and more videos. And yeah, that's it from me. Have a good day and take care. Goodbye.